wanted to do a video on failure and what it is that we do subconsciously with that concept. Okay, so anything that you want in life is obtainable. Anything that you want in life is obtainable, no matter how many attempts it takes to get there. So what happens is, a few things. A lot of times you'll do something, you'll go into it like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this, and then maybe you fail. Maybe you're not successful. And then your ego takes that energy of perceived failure and it says, okay, well, I'm gonna wash my hands. I tried, what else can I do? Don't give up on the things that you want in life, on your hopes, your dreams, on your plans, because you feel like you failed. And go back to your same routine and your same stagnation circumstances of feeling like you're going to keep doing the same things you've been doing that aren't really elevating you because you tried something new and it didn't work out. Not being successful is not a stop sign in your trip. Failure is merely a stepping stone, because like I said in that video about levels over losses, because nothing in life has to be a loss. And the reason I say that, no matter the loss, because anything that brings you perceived loss or that negative feeling of missing out on something, it doesn't have to be that way. If you change your perspective and instead you look at each and every situation in your life as a level up and as something to gain. Now, if you try to do something and you go into it with that energy of try. A long time ago, someone told me that try is premeditated failure. You're either gonna do something or you're not gonna do it. And if you do something and it didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to, does that mean you didn't do it? No, it doesn't. You still did it. It just didn't work out. You gotta step back, reflect, and redirect. Try a new way. Change your direction. Accept that you don't know every fucking thing. Accept that you're not perfect. In our humanly form, we are far from perfect. It's just the way that it is. And that is because, sometimes maybe you do something before your time. Maybe you aren't meant to have that yet. Say you feel like you're taking a lot of losses and you don't understand the point and purpose. God is not going to keep giving you things if you're not thankful for what you have, and if you don't see, the glory in the things that you have already. So maybe you're just not ready for the things that you want in life yet, and you got a few more things you got to work out, or maybe there's a few more lessons that you got to be able to learn so that you are able to fully appreciate and embrace the things in which you're wanting. You don't want to have things before you're meant to have them, before you're ready to have them, because what happens is then you accidentally fuck them off because you don't know what to do with it. You haven't learned how to keep those things. And everything in life that is worth having and worth keeping is worth putting the time, effort, and energy and working for that. Okay, so we will fall back into maladaptive and negative habits and behaviors because we are comfortable there. Because we are afraid of failure. But each and everything that comes your way, even if it feels like the most negative and digressing or lowest energy possible, there is something to gain from the experience within itself. Whether it is a lesson, whether it is a realization, everything can level you up if you allow yourself to be open to the beauty and everything, and to the purpose of those perceived losses or failures. You know, for example, like, you know, I feel like, so last year, we'll take it back. When I was diagnosed with glaucoma after having COVID, COVID gave me glaucoma, I guess, deteriorated the retina in my eyes. They told me that I would have about 5 to 7 years before I'm going to be permanently blind in both eyes. Now, I took that as motivation to really get out and do the things that I've always wanted to do in case the possibility that I do lose my sight. So I had planned about a year ago to leave my place and to travel. I've never really been anywhere. I've never really done much. Never really seen anything. And if it's possible that in a very short amount of time, the option even to do so is going to be taken from me, I wanted to embrace, you know, the time that I had. I had the opportunity. My children were making a move. I'm co-parenting. They're now in another state. So I was like, okay, this is the right time to do that. I have the space and opportunity. And what happened is, you know, I went into it trying to be a mature, responsible, higher version of myself. I am habitually a spontaneous person. I just jump up and go, and I don't really plan things out. I kind of always sporadic, just in the moment type of person, and that doesn't always get you places. So I was proud of myself. I took my time. You know, I took my time. I found the right RV. I wanted to travel. I want to see, you know, caves and waterfalls, you know, things like that. So I took my time and I invested, and I spent almost $4,000 on an RV that I felt was meant for me. It ran great. It was the perfect size. It was exactly what I wanted. Within only a few weeks of purchasing that $4,000 RV, leaving my apartment, getting rid of pretty much everything I owned, only having me, myself, the RV, and my vehicle. Within a few weeks of having the vehicle, the vehicle too, because I bought them at the same time, of having the RV, long story short, it was stolen. It was wrecked. It was pretty much destroyed, and everything that I owned was trashed and stolen. And within the same week time, the $2,000 Mercedes that I had also bought within that month completely took a shit. No one can figure out how to fix it, and it ended up being scrapped. And I ended up living in the park for a couple weeks until I had enough money to get make my next move. And I really let that shit break me. I let that shit stop me, detour me from my point and purpose of what I was doing. Made me feel as if, you know, I failed and it must not be meant for me, and that I need to figure out something else. And then somebody told me, okay, you did that. You know why you did that. You wanted to do that. So what's stopping you? And I'm like, they stole my house, you know, I don't have a car. Like, you know, I tried. Okay, well, do it again. And as naive as it sounds, as stupid as it sounds, that thought never crossed my mind because I put so much weight on the responsible vibes, the responsibility, and the mature energy that I went into the situation with, and I felt like I gave it my all and I did my best and I still failed. Regardless of fault, I felt like I still failed. So the thought to do it again never crossed my mind because I feel like I barely did it the first time. I never have that much money. I never have, you know, I put all these limitations on my own self, feeling like it was a once in a lifetime situation or opportunity that had came and gone. But that's not the truth. Do it again. Do it a different way. Redirect, reflect. What could I have done better? What should I do differently? How can I ensure that I am successful the next time around? And that's really where I'm at right now, is accepting the point and purpose of what it is that I was meant to learn from the experience of purchasing an RV, going through the first of everything with learning, the water systems and the tanks and the reservoirs and the generators and the all of these things. Now having a better grasp on everything that kind of goes into that. So now, instead of going into it with all of this baggage, I'm going into it with a new perspective and a higher level of awareness, because I now have a broader view based on the experience. I now have I'm going into it experienced instead of as an amateur, and that should give you strength within itself. You can overcome your circumstances. You can rise above your perceived failures, but it is up to you to be able to step back and to see things for the intention of why they happen or why you went through things. Even as bad as that was, I lost everything. Everything I owned, I lost. And my car. And I ended up living in the park for weeks. Did I cause that for myself? I don't feel necessarily that I did, but at the end of the day, everything comes back to self. There are things that should have been done maybe differently, that maybe would have caused different outcomes. So don't quit on yourself because you feel like you failed at something. Use that as a stepping stone and understand that there are no losses, there's only levels, and you deserve to move forward to the next levels. And in order to get there, sometimes you got to learn certain things. You got to experience certain experiences to be able to fully appreciate when you get to your destination, when you reach that level of success. And you deserve to do that. So I hope that motivates you to not to try harder, but to do harder. You do or you don't. And if you're going to do it, then do it, and do it 100. Do it with the full purpose and intention of not necessarily reaching your goal, but with intention of gaining elevation, no matter how high you elevate, no matter how much you elevate. Elevation is elevation. Movement is movement, regardless of how fast or how slow you're moving. Give yourself that. Claim and own the shit that you deserve to claim and own, instead of taking away your blessing of perspective. Because anything you go through is only gaining perspective, good or bad, in life. And the more perspective you have, the more ability that you have to be aware. And the more aware you are, the more you are able to send out the vibes of gratitude. And the more grateful in which you are, the more in which the Lord will bless you with things to be grateful for. So I hope that's encouraging. You deserve to have all of the things in which you want in life. Don't hold yourself back. Just because you feel like you failed something doesn't mean that it wasn't meant for you. It just might not be your time, or you might still have things that you need to learn in order to fully be able to celebrate in your success. Have a great day, guys.